Welcome to the Cockpit. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot tonight. Guys, what's going on with the Jets? 1 week ago, today, we were all high and mighty. We were so proud of our boys. And just one short week later, fire everyone. Get rid of everyone. The O-line stinks again after a few weeks of doing all right. The offense couldn't get anything going. Defense got beat up. No one played well. What's good? Justin Levine, Daniel Roberts, sports fan. What's up? Welcome to the chat. Guys, we're going to do this the same way we do it every week. Call-ins are going to start at 8:30. And we're going to take some comment questions prior to that. What's up, Magnus Hansen, Methodical Tick? Welcome to the Cockpit. Guys, I decided to play with my layout a little bit. Tyson, what's up? Joe West, what's up? No more chat box on the side for the actual video. Instead, I'll throw some stats up there. Things that I found interesting. Garden Hose, welcome to the chat. Quinnen looks invisible. Yes, he actually looks terrible, and he's ranked very poorly in terms of Pro Football Focus. Johnny Fallon, from 1 to 100, where do you rate Adam Gase now and in the future? Ooh, that's going to be a tough question. Something that I'll have to consider. I think we are stuck with him for next year. I am cautiously optimistic. I think a better offensive line significantly helps this team. But I feel as though Le'Veon Bell is being misused in this offense. And I think it's a terrible waste of talent and salary cap space. Not happy. DJ14, welcome up. Monday was great, but I got roasted because of the Jets. Monday was good. Not too shabby. I don't know where you guys are coming from, but we got a bunch of snow here. We probably got like 6 to 10 inches of snow. Happily had my day off today. Just kind of hung out. Played like shit. Yunda. Don't know how to pronounce the name. Firegaze. Hire Matt Rule. I think that ship has sailed a long time ago. I don't think Matt Rule would ever come back here. I would like to believe he would. Fix our little shit show we got going on. He's good at doing that. Dan Snyder, we got Mets and Yankees logo in the chat. We do. We have a Mets and Yankees. We got one Jets. Garden Hose is a Jet fan. Most guys are Jet fans anyway. Who would you want then? Who would I want? I don't think we're getting rid of Gase. I would love Matt Rule. I would take Harbaugh from Michigan because I think he could possibly be out. Johnny Fallon, Long Island, 2 to 4 inches. Ooh, nothing down there. Bell just ran up the middle. It's true. We just kept running right at them when they were one of the worst teams against the run on the outside. So not a very good strategy in terms of the offensive game plan. We were still, oddly enough, in position to possibly score a touchdown on that first drive. Couldn't connect with Robbie Anderson. Definitely, sort of the way this whole game went. Everything was pretty much like, oh, almost did all right. No, we got smacked around on the defensive side of the ball, and the offensive line just got cooked. You look at Carlos Dunlap, their defensive line is nothing to joke about. They have a good defensive line. But the way our offensive line got pushed around was nothing short of terrible. Absolutely horrible. Not good. Boys, I'll throw on the football game once we get to... Actually, is it on now, or is it 8:30? I think it's 8:30. Let's see what we got going on. Throw that on so we can at least discuss that while we are going through our Jets pseudo-hatred. There we go. Okay. I got my football. Got some people over in the Sportscaster world paying attention. If you guys have not followed me on Sportscaster, right up there. Just search Jets Talk or the Cockpit. I don't remember what it's searched under, but come find me. Add me as a friend. It's kind of cool. They help support the channel, so something cool that we get to do and have fun with. Another platform to share things and possibly do some exclusive things on there. Who do I want in the draft? Joe S. says Robbie was the only one that showed up. Very true. Ben Sure. I'm going to try and pronounce your name right. I'm sorry. Yehuda. Who dat? Who do we want us to take in the draft? If we are picking 9th, where we currently are slotted right now, I think we're probably going to slide up that draft board. We'll probably think we'll definitely wind up in the top 10. Offensive line. Everything that I saw yesterday, from Beecham to Shell, everything in between, everything needs an upgrade. I don't think there's too many offensive linemen on this roster right now that you want as your starter next year. Maybe Alex Lewis, maybe Tom Compton are guys that could be serviceable at the guard positions if you drastically upgrade the tackle and center positions. You don't always need a dominant guard to have a great offensive line, but man, you could upgrade any one of these guys, and I would not be opposed to it. So, first round pick, as much as I would love to get CeeDee Lamb, I'm taking offensive line. Refs hosed us. Magnus, we hosed ourselves. The offensive line play was terrible. I feel like all seven of our penalties were on the offensive line. Really not good. Be nice to your little brother, sports fan. The only problem takeaway from the Bengals loss is the Dolphins lost next week will be less painful. Man, if we lose to the Dolphins next week and we get swapped by the Dolphins, that's going to hurt. That's not going to be fun, guys. We have not a lot going for us in terms of free agents that would potentially want to come here. I think there's a real shot that we look to trade Le'Veon Bell in the offseason. He just looks like he is a square peg trying to fit into a round hole. It's just not going to work. Makes me kind of sad because I really like Le'Veon Bell. I wouldn't be opposed to getting some draft capital for him since we can't use him right anyway. I would consider getting rid of Gase. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, though. Guys, we got 31 people in the chat. We got 7 likes on the video. Drop a like in the like box down below. It takes you 2 seconds. Show me that you like it. Show me that you enjoy the Cockpit live stream. What else we got going on in the chat? Johnny Fallon, if we are top 10, would you rather take O-line or trade back to get more? I would take the top O-line regardless. I think we are going to trade Jamal Adams still. So I think we'll get the center that we need at the back end of the first round. I know it's, not what a lot of people want to see or hear, but I think, it's probably going to happen. T-Jazz NY, disagree with Jamal Adams trade? Is that what you're saying? Christopher Livingston, please, let's just lose every game from here on out by a close margin. I want to see Sam play well. I want to see as many wins as possible because we have the quarterback. We don't need to get as high in the draft to get good players. I'd rather see this quarterback progress and show us that he is the franchise quarterback that I believe him to be. Let's see. Oh, T-Jazz, you say you disagree with me saying we should trade Jamal Adams. I don't necessarily think we should or shouldn't. I think we should extend him or trade him this offseason. That would be my kind of take. I feel like we're probably going to trade him, though. Daniel Roberts, I feel like Gase will take a quarterback in the first round. After all, he didn't draft Darnold and is looking to sabotage Sam's career. Anyway, Daniel, you're a moron. No, I love you. But no, that's not going to happen. He came here because of Sam Darnold. Aspiring filmmaker, the pick has to be Andrew Thomas. He's a pure stud worthy to replace DeBrickashaw Ferguson. Look, if we can get high enough to get him, I'm all for it. I don't think we're going to get above Washington. I hope Washington wins a few games and we slide ahead of them because then we could get that tackle. I could see Atlanta possibly taking a lineman. The Giants could take a lineman. I think they would prefer to take the best defensive player on the board, which would be Chase Young. So I think that's kind of safe. I think the Bengals and the Dolphins are both quarterbacks in that regard. Top pick doesn't mean anything. Look at Quinnen so far. Tyson Mann. Yes, I agree. The top pick doesn't necessarily mean a whole heck of a lot, especially when you get a pick like Quinnen Williams, who is following suit with all our other highly drafted defensive tackles of just kind of being like a no-show. Yes, people have talked about the whole double team thing. It's not as drastic as you would like to believe. I know you want to say there's a lot of double teams thrown his way. We don't see it as much as people want to believe it. Let's see. Might call in, might not. Putting up tree right now. V-Man, that's all right. I wanted to get my tree yesterday or today. I didn't do that. I actually worked at the Christmas tree farm yesterday. That was kind of fun. My golf season is starting to wind down, and I am falling back into the mode of making videos and having fun and doing all that sort of stuff. Not that I don't have fun during the year, but I'm looking forward to actually making more videos for you guys. But the tree farm was fun. Definitely recommend Emmerich Tree Farm. If you guys have to get a Christmas tree and you are in the pseudo relatively close area to Warwick. No more defensive tackles in the first round. Tannehill playing much better without Gase. He is. That's a big concerning thing for me. When you see the way that Ryan Tannehill has performed without Adam Gase there, he looks like a world beater, and that's not good. I think it's something that you have to consider getting rid of Gase. Danny Roberts says he wishes we took Josh Allen. Was Blashawn Austin good? Methodical tick. He was pretty good. I think let me see. I had the stats here a little while ago. He's one of the top-rated corners in the league right now, and that's including yesterday's game. So even with the poor performance overall by the defense, still did well. I think there was one catch where a guy like climbed the ladder on him, just like made a real up there catch. Quinnen is another Leo. No interceptions from Darnold, which is sad to say. What would we get in trouble? What would we get in a trade down deal? It depends. That's a big thing that we'll talk about in the offseason. See where teams wind up falling. See what assets the Jets are looking to get, looking to move. I could see us trading back, but honestly, we're going to take the best offensive lineman, and I don't think we're going to screw around too much with it. I think we'll have 3 third-round picks. I think that's how that works. Because we got the Leonard one. We got the... Or no, I guess we just have 1. We have 2 right now, right? But I think we do make some moves, make some trades. I do see Jamal Adams probably getting shipped off at some point. Unless we decide to lock him in for a pseudo-reasonable deal. Or at least one that'll look more reasonable further into his contract. Joe S. trade down from what spot? See, that's a big thing. If we are in the top 5, we're not trading down. We're going to take the best player. If we are in, the 8th pick, we can trade down to like the 12th pick, pick up an extra second-round pick or something like that. I think we would do that. I don't necessarily know who would be in that wheelhouse for moving up. Stuart Nickes. Can we trade Adam Gase, please? No one's going to take Adam Gase. The way we have performed right now, no one's taking Adam Gase. I know that was tongue-in-cheek. That Leo trade looking good. High third-round pick. That is absolutely huge. Let's see. Poll. I'm trying this new Streamlabs thing, and a little gear popped up. I don't know how to vote on these things, but I guess you can hit 1, 2, 3, or 4 to vote. I don't know. Doesn't make sense in the chat off to the side. What would Jamal net in a trade? I would bet Jamal would get us a first and 2 seconds, or a first, a third, and maybe a second next year. I could see that, and I would be okay with that if that's what winds up happening in terms of moving him. And it's all a matter of if we believe that Joe Douglas should sign him or shouldn't sign him. If he's actually going to throw the money at him, it'll be interesting because I think $15 million makes him the highest paid corner in the league, or $16 million, right around there, or highest paid defensive back, which is it's arguable that he should be in that wheelhouse. Highest paid defensive player would be somewhere in the 20s. I don't think he's going to get nearly that. I would prefer not to give him that kind of money, like the $20 million. $15 million I could probably live with. We don't really have anyone else that we're paying right now, so, I mean, we do, but no one in the long-term future of this team. What number 1 first? Man, Yehuda. Just want your question asked. Question answered. First-round pick for Jamal. You're probably looking at somewhere in the 20s. You're looking at something like a Dallas pick, although you never know. 6 and 10, they could have a top 10 pick. This is like ridiculous. The way this whole process is working out. I got to actually look this up. I got to see what the chances of them getting that pick are. So 6 and 6 right now would put them in the playoffs, of course, but a 6-6 could also drop them as far down as the 16th pick, 15th pick, somewhere around there. And they're not very good team. You look at who the Jets beat. We beat the Raiders and the Cowboys are really our two kind of staple wins of the season. And you could kind of see both these teams wind up being under 500 by the time the season's all said and done. And could you imagine if someone in the NFC East winds up winning this goddamn division with a 6-10 record? This could potentially happen. Or at least it was at one point in that potential thought. I hope that doesn't wind up being the case. 7-9 probably wins that division, though, which is just terrible. They are so bad. So bad. Boy, what we got going on in the chat, boys? Can we somehow get the stripper that Sam kissed to give Gase mono so Gase can miss the rest of the contract with the Jets? Man, Sticky Lips Sam, that stripper he was getting with, or whoever he was with, I would love to give Gase mono just to see what goes on. We really just need this season to be over. We need an entirely new offensive line, and we really can't do anything until then. Are you surprised the AFC East is still up for grabs? Would you mind losing to the Bills if the Pats fall to the 5th seed? I would be okay with that. I am a closet Bills fan this year. I do like Josh Allen. I was not high on him when we were drafting. So it's not a player that, like, I'm still happy with Sam Darnold. I'm glad we got Sam Darnold. But as far as, like, the Patriots go, I would love to see them somehow lose and have the Bills win that division. Anyone but the Patriots is kind of the mentality that I've been taking the last few years. So I guess that's where I stand. If we are going to trade Jamal Adams, we should seek a trade partner with at least a top 15 pick, says aspiring filmmaker Holly. The issue with that is you got to find a good team that maybe lost a quarterback that feels they are close and on the cusp. And I think Dallas is probably the closest thing to that, where they've had an underperforming season. We could potentially get a high pick for him. But I don't think someone's going to be giving up the caliber of pick that could land us somewhere in the top 15. I don't think so. I'm not going to be shocked, I guess, if it's right around there. But I think Dallas is probably our most likely trade partner. It looks like Baltimore might win the whole damn thing. They're going to be one of the top 4 teams in the league when it's all said and done. What does a Le'Veon trade net us? Probably not much. His contract is a little aggressive, so, if you can get a 3rd-round pick for him, it's more ammo. I don't necessarily agree with it. I think it's going to depend on what we're offered. If we get offered a 2nd-round pick, I think he's gone. We're just not utilizing him right. Our offensive line is not meant for this kind of running back, although if we think we can fix the Jets' offensive line, then maybe we decide to keep Le'Veon Bell and we give it another shot. He's a great weapon. I really like the guy. It's understandable why he's frustrated in this offense. It's just nothing but abysmal for this whole team. Brett, you sure about that? 2nd-round pick? 2nd-round pick's probably as good as we could get for Bell. Every time Sam goes out to a party, we go on a losing streak. Pre-Bills, mono, post-Cowboys, post-Raiders. I guess we got to get Sam to stay in. No more going out. Get this man some Call of Duty and keep him inside the house. Exhibit A for that scenario, Steelers. Exhibit B, Falcons. Okay, so you're saying for injured quarterbacks that might feel like they have a shot, Steelers could be a potential landing spot, I guess. I want a 1, a 2, and a 3 in next year's 3rd for Jamal. He's that good. Man, I don't think a team's going to give up 4 picks for him. He's still just a strong safety. As much as I like the guy, that's a lot of picks to give up if you're a team. But I would take it in a heartbeat. Brady looks just about done. He doesn't look the same, says Joe S. I have been trying to say that for the last 5 years, and every year this guy just proves me wrong. So I'm keeping my goddamn mouth shut until he retires. I just want Brady gone. I really do. I think Belichick's going to be there another 15 years, which is going to be terrible for us anyway. But just getting rid of Brady would be fantastic. Le'Veon trade nets us at least a 1st. Do you think it'll happen? Anything's possible in Jerry world. Not happening. I don't think we're going to get a 1st-round pick for Le'Veon Bell. Bills are a very solid team. Building a future, cannot shake the feeling that the Miami Dolphins are ready to make a jump if they land a quarterback. I think Flowers or Flores or whatever you say his name is, the coach down in Miami, Brian Flores, I think that's right. Real good coach. Real good coach. He's got that team playing hard. Fitzmagic doing his thing again, leading a team from the bottom 5 pick that they want to potentially like a 6th to 10th overall pick. So that might happen for those guys. Fingers crossed, guys. Get them further away from that quarterback. I would slap an 80s number on Le'Veon and just use him as a wideout. It says Edward Ziff. Look, I would definitely put Bell in the slot. He has been way better from the slot than he has in the run game. Can't just run this guy at the line of scrimmage. Not going to work. Tyson Man. But guys, be real. Pats are fueled by people doubting them. They will still be fine. You're probably right. DMAC08. Do you think Tannehill having success in Tennessee makes Gase look that much worse in Miami? I completely agree with that. That is the biggest fear of mine in terms of the competency of Adam Gase. Is I wasn't so high on Ryan Tannehill to begin with, but now that he's playing well in Tennessee, got major question marks with Adam Gase. Not that I didn't have major question marks before, but man, that is definitely not a good feeling when you're a Jets fan and you have him as a coach and your owner has already guaranteed that he's coming back next year. Oh, I got a $5 donation from RJ MacPot720. $5. Who was the last head coach who started off horribly but continued to have a great career? Do you remember? Are you saying the last Jets head coach, or are you saying a head coach in general who had a great career? Because Bill Belichick had a terrible first time around with the Browns and has gone on to be the greatest head coach of all time, in my opinion. People are saying Bill Walsh, Bill Parcells. Since it's a snow day, I'm off. Gonna call in. Tyler, absolutely. Love to have you call in. If the Jets trade Jamal Adams, how do you use the surplus of draft picks? Use it on O-line. If you get a first-round pick for Jamal Adams, you take the best center in the draft, assuming it's like in the 20s. Tyler Biadasz from Wisconsin is probably going to fall somewhere in the mid-20s to the middle of the second round. Somewhere in that threshold is probably where he's going to wind up going. T-Jazz, should I call in Ryan? Everyone should call in. I love talking to you guys. Love hearing your takes on things. It gives me a chance to talk to the nation. What would you say if the offseason we need to have to get back to winning? Raymond Brown says, what do we need in the offseason? We need offensive line. That's the biggest thing we need. I mean, I would definitely go after Sheriff from Washington. That's one plug-and-play piece. I would try to go after, the tackle in the top 10 when we start taking our first-round pick. If we trade Jamal, I'd take a center. That shores up 3 of the positions across the board. And then figure you have a second-round pick, at the very least 2 third-round picks. That's if you don't get any extra picks for Jamal this season. Then in the second round, that's going to be a high pick. So you could argue wide receiver. Gandy Golden, the wide receiver from Liberty, largely untested in terms of the strength of schedule that he went against, but definitely a very good wide receiver. Uses his height and leaping ability to jump over, all over the place. That would be an interesting selection in my book. Or if Jackson, the wide receiver from LSU, is there, I would take him. He's really good. Do you see us trading Quinnen Williams? Nick, I don't know. I would be pretty okay with it. If we got a first round pick for Quinnen Williams, I would probably make the move. I don't see. Apparently, at the trade deadline, there was a team that offered the Jets a blockbuster trade, and now we are probably thinking we should have taken that. But no, I don't know. I think according to Joe Douglas, Darnold and Quinnen Williams were the only 2 that were on the trade off the trade market. If we could get the Raiders pick, like you're saying, Raiders really wanted Quinnen Williams. They really wanted Leonard Williams too back in the day. Which, let's talk about that Jets-Giants trade again for a second. There have been reports that have come out from the New York Post, and I believe it was ESPN.com posted the other one, both within a few minutes of each other. It was actually a little weird. Apparently, the Giants are having buyer's remorse on Leonard Williams, so there's the potential that they can, head coach and everyone, and don't re-sign Leonard Williams, which would make us have a 5th-round pick instead of a 4th-round pick. But fingers crossed, guys, they want to re-sign him. The trade didn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense to a lot of Giant fans at the time we made that, and even to Jet fans, we were kind of like, I can't believe they did that. So, you know what, maybe, I don't know, maybe there's the potential to get that 4th-round pick. But Quinnen Williams, 1st-round pick, I would probably do it. I think there's probably other areas that we could address. Quarterback has been surprisingly good the last few weeks, as bad as we looked yesterday in terms of our defense. I think if we have, our regular starting offensive lineman, that definitely helps this team way more. Or offensive linemen, linebackers. Mosley and Williamson going to be big time getting these guys back. I'm doing that blockbuster trade. Yes, T-Jazz New York, I agree with the Quinnen Williams trade. If they give us a blockbuster deal, I would do it in a heartbeat. Not that I don't like the guy. I like Quinnen Williams. I think we can do just fine with the caliber of players we have outside of him on our D-line, though. My Rangers are losing 4-0. When will I be blessed? God damn it. Justin Levine. As Jet fans, none of us are blessed. We have bless Austin. We have bless you, thank you, Quinnen Williams. But for the love of everything, we cannot find anything. We just can't get any luck. No blessing the Jets. Almost any year. Josh Allen in a better situation. Would you take Josh Allen over Darnold? Garden Hose bring up the Josh Allen over Sam Darnold argument. No, I would not. I do think that, Josh Allen could have success here because he could run the ball and make a little more plays with his feet than Sam does. But I would not trade Sam Darnold for Josh Allen at this point. I think Sam's going to be a really good quarterback when we give him time. I really do believe that. And I hope this isn't me being a eyes pulled shut or seeing the world through green shades or whatever because I'm a Jet fan. But I really think Sam is the truth. Surprisingly, no picks for Darnold. Yes, that was good. I've seen tape on Gandy Golden. He might be a hell of a find. I agree, Daniel. I think that would be a good pick. Staff Sergeant, trade Gase for Cam Newton. Look, I wonder where Cam Newton's going to go. He's definitely not going to be on the Bengals next year. I would say the Bears are a possible situation. I think they get rid of Trubisky. He is bad. He is real bad. Honestly, though, we had Lamar in our grasp. Look, we had Lamar in our grasp, but every team in the first round had Lamar in their grasp. He was taken 32nd overall by the Ravens. I think it was 32nd. It was like 30, 31, or 32. Honestly, I don't know if Lamar Jackson turns into the quarterback that he currently is with the Jets regime last year and this year. I think he is in a great situation with Baltimore. I think the Bills and the Browns and the Ravens all have significantly better rosters than the Jets do. I think that's why you're seeing Sam struggle more than some of these other quarterbacks. Look, aside from Bell, Robbie's our next best thing. I think offensive line-wise, it's not even close. I mean, the Browns sort of have a shaky offensive line from what I've read. But Baker's got Odell and Landry and Hunt and, those guys over there. So it's like he's got a ton of weapons. Njoku. All right, boys, let's see. I'm going to throw the number on the screen. Let me just get the Google Voice open before we start taking calls. Lamar, then Sam, then Baker, then Allen, then Rudolph, then Rivers, and that's what we're saying. Oh, man. Right off the bat.
Chris from Florida.
Chris, my man, what's up, dude?
What's going on, everybody? Let's go and hit that like and subscribe button for our boy Jet Talk 24/7.
Yeah, Chris from Florida, what's up, dude? How's the Did you watch that whole game, or did you just like? I got to probably the 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and I was like, I'm fucking done with this. I'm out of here. Sean
All right.
Delewski, DeWix, whatever. Thank you for subscribing. No, talk to me. What's on your mind?
So for me, I said to myself, oh gosh, don't let this be a setback. Don't let this be a trap game. Please, please, please. And as soon as I saw the game, we were hitting the drive, and the moment we did not complete that throwing pass, I said, oh my gosh, I should probably stop watching this game. And it's funny, every time I stopped watching the game, I stepped away to get a drink, use the restroom, or just to refill on my food, or pray a little bit. For some reason, not watching the game, something good happened. And then I kept coming back, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, that good thing, it's gone now. Like, we're going back to, by the time it was the third quarter, I said I was done. And for some reason, we stayed at 6-22. I was like, I should have stopped watching. Did I jinx my own team?
Dude, so bad. Ganesh Singh, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the Cockpit. Yeah, dude, it was terrible. Every time I'm just like, luckily I didn't get to watch too much of the game. I was working a little bit yesterday, so I'm listening to it through like the radio. And you know, I wind up watching the recap, and I'm like, this is just miserable. We are so bad. And I'm glad, you know, I didn't, you know, waste an entire day with it, I guess. I feel bad. Our buddy, who did we have? Who was I talking to? Was it you that I was talking to last week that said they wanted to go to the Bengals game?
No, that wasn't me. But those prices were really cheap, man. Those prices were really cheap.
Dude, there was no one in the stadium there. It was friggin' barren. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, the Jets just can't. Yeah. We can't catch a break. Anytime we start doing a little bit all right, we just get smacked down. I'm
just more disappointed by, okay, the saddest thing is you can only take away a good thing is that, yeah, Sam Darnold didn't throw any interception. You know, he got lucky with not getting that first interception nearby the red zone. And the fact that he underthrew and Robbie Anderson couldn't make that touchdown was like even more depressing. Yeah, that was I really thought we were going to connect on that. And then you have the whole did you see the play where Sam rolled out to his left and wound up throwing it like into the dirt behind Crowder? He had so much room out in front of him. It's just like little plays like that. And it was almost like I'm going to catch a little bit of heat from this, but it almost felt Geno-esque, where like Geno would run out of the pocket but run out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. At least Sam doesn't do that. But like, that's sort of where I got like some PTSD from that happening. I was like, no, honestly, please. Honestly, when I looked at that play, man, I saw how close he was to the line of scrimmage, starting line, to the line of scrimmage, and I said, even if he made that completion, I bet you anything the ref would have thrown a flag and said offside. I agree, dude. It was close. It was like, I feel like there's just a narrative, and there's a little bit of a tinfoil hat theory going on here, and I really hope it's not true. But did you know that the ref that did this game also did the one for Miami Dolphin game that we lost to? Really? I didn't know that. So we had 10 penalties in both those games. We had like 10 penalties for I think 105 or 6 yards in that game, and then we had 10 penalties for 106 or 7 yards yesterday. So it's like, at least we're in the history books. What the hell? At least we're in the history books, right? Yeah, right. We be the first ever in NFL history to get two losing streaking teams win their first win. Yeah, I can't believe it. It was like, go on, dude. It's just terrible. You can't have this happen. It's just embarrassing. I mean, and look, there's like a little bit of me that wants to make some excuses for Gase, but I can't bring myself to do it because he's just 0-11. They're 0-11. I don't care how many injuries you have. You can't lose to 0-11. You have your starting quarterback. You got your starting running back, wide receiver. Make it happen. There was no excuse for this game. You can't tell me, oh, we weren't prepared. Because there's a new quarterback. You have so much other games that he played. Dude. Also, you can't tell me, oh, we were traveling. Your distance is a 20-minute flight. You had enough time to sleep. And if you tell me there's an injury report, you have been using secondaries. You know who made a good game was Greg Williams. He decided, oh, my defense's work is not working this first half. And then in the second half, they could not let any more points. Credit to Jamal Adams for holding through. I wish he left the game sooner, but, you know, credit to him for staying on the game even through that injury. I'm still positive we're not going to get rid of him. But from here, dude, it was like Jamal Adams. It was like, I'm sorry, not Jamal Adams. It was like Adam Gase forgot the 3 weeks and forgot that talk with Sam Darnold and regressed back himself to his old plays. What the hell?
Dude, it killed me. It absolutely crushed me. The whole, like, I'm glad that Greg Williams was able to tighten things up in the second half. And I think, that's good that we can see those adjustments. There's part of me that if we wanted to get rid of Adam Gase, I would keep Greg Williams as the head coach because at least there's some consistency with the coaching staff and the players. You're not totally hitting the reset button. Chris, you got 7 seconds.
Yeah, let's fire Adam Gase. Go ahead and like and subscribe, baby.
I love it, dude. Thank you so much for calling in. You have been ejected from the cockpit. Ooh, man, I didn't realize that I put the timer down here, and my little cockpit animation doesn't shoot the chicken all the way up to the screen if I do that. Man. Tough thing. Who we got? Who's calling in?
Call from
Steve.
Steve, what's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
How you doing, Ryan?
I'm hanging in there. Dude, every week we get like this roller coaster of we're going to the playoffs, we're going to win out, to like we suck and the world is going to end. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I mean, but we're used to it at this point. So funny thing is, I went to college around the Baltimore area.
Okay.
So I bought tickets for the Raven-Jet game in a week and a half from now, on Thursday after the 3-game streak. So I was going to go regardless, even if they were 0-13 entering this game. We had plans to go to this game all season just because, it's my buddies from down there. I'm still from Jersey, but anyway, it's still our two teams. But yeah, now after this loss, it's just, the season ended yesterday. The game isn't as much anymore.
Dude, it would have been a long shot for us to get into the playoffs anyway. I think there's still sort of an outside chance. I don't think we're actually fully eliminated yet, but we probably need every team to lose or tie to get in.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah, I think it was a 1% chance even at 9-7, or the seeding, because we had no tiebreakers except for the Raiders, in that race.
Oh yeah, no, we got smoked across the whole board. I mean, the Browns beat us. We're probably, God, I have a tough time seeing us beat anyone here on out. I was confident that we were going to beat the Bengals and the Dolphins, but man.
Yeah, I mean,
not so confident. Not confident.
Eagles are. I saw this little clip on YouTube of the Eagles' local radio stations. They were going insane, worse than the Joe Padingo show here. It was crazy.
Oh, I'm sure. You have that Eagles team shouldn't be as bad as they are. It's kind of confusing to me as why they are as bad as they are. I don't know. The Dolphins team is probably not as bad as their record indicates. The Bengals probably are not as bad as their record indicates. You look at some of the games they lost. They lost to Seattle. They kept it close. They lost to the Ravens once and kept it close. The other time was a blowout. They had a few games in there that were actually, respectable games that, you shouldn't really overlook. But 0-11 looks bad. I'm sure they circled this date on their calendar and was like, this is the chance for the Jets where we can get a win.
Yeah, I actually still think there's a chance the Giants get the number 1 pick.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there's a real good shot. I think the Bengals could beat the who do they got coming up? I think they have to play the Dolphins.
I think they're gonna beat the Dolphins because I think mentally, obviously the players are gonna try. I don't think the Dolphins can risk winning any more games. Internally, they know they should probably stop winning games. They're all right, lose the final 4. Let the Bengals win a game.
Yeah, that would be huge because if the Bengals win. The Bengals actually have one of the hardest strength of schedules in the NFL. Let me just actually run through this real quick because I think...
Yeah, I think you might be right.
I think it is the hardest. It's definitely the hardest strength of schedule in the NFL. They have a .573. I think the next closest one to them...
I think the Raiders are around there too.
Yeah, Denver's got 5.31. Arizona's got 5.45. Atlanta's got a 5.66. That would be the next closest. Oakland is sitting around... 4.63, so Oakland's actually pretty low. So if the Bengals beat the Dolphins, they would fall down to the second pick. Giants would leapfrog them. They would have the first overall pick. And I'm trying to think who they play. I think they might even play the Browns twice. I think they have
Yeah, they do. Oh, the Bengals, yeah, they still play the Browns twice, yeah.
Schedule. Let's see. And I think maybe the Steelers? I feel like that sounds right. I was looking at it the other day, and it was pretty bad. Oh, no, okay. So they have the Browns twice, the Dolphins, and the Patriots. So figure they
All right.
probably have a halfway decent shot at a division win against the Browns in one of those games. The Dolphins, coin flip of a game. I think they could win that one. It's in Miami. I don't know how much that actually matters. I think regardless of where that game was going to be played, there wasn't going to be many home fans regardless. And the Patriots, they'll lose that game.
Yeah, I don't know about you, man, but I'm ready for the Redskins to win the NFC East.
Oh man, could you imagine? Are they actually
They're
eliminated
only
yet?
they're only 3 games out, and look at the remaining 2 teams scheduled. Like the Redskins have the easiest schedule, I think, ending the season or something.
Let's
And
see.
look at how the Cowboys and the Eagles have played.
Dude, the Cowboys and Eagles are going back and forth each week saying, "Nuh-uh, I don't want the division. You take the division." That's what's going on.
It's really crazy. I can't Dwayne Haskins is playing terrible football, and they won a couple games still. But oh my god, I can't believe they can win that division still.
Dude, there's no way they're going to win the division. You look at so they have the Giants and they have the Cowboys and they have the Eagles. They have 3 division games that they'd have to win. And then they probably need the rest of these teams to lose out. But they play the Packers next week, and they're not going to beat the Packers. It's I think the Redskins are pretty bad. That division is absolutely terrible. It's historically bad. 7 and 9.
How much time do I have, Ryan?
We have 2 minutes. I forgot to hit the timer, so you got some time.
All right, cool. Awesome. Appreciate the time. Yeah, but anyway, so you ever notice, though, we've witnessed a lot of bad Jet seasons, but there's always a couple really memorable good games in those seasons. There's a couple of examples of that this year. We know it's a lost season, but, even Josh McCown's first year, there was a couple iconic games. I don't know. In a lost season, there's just always a couple of games that stand out.
Yeah, it gives you just enough to get hope, and it's like that. It's like the drug dealer that gets you hooked, right? He's
Right.
like, "I'll give you a little taste for free," and then you're like, "I need more. I gotta get it.
Yeah,
I need those Jets tickets."
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the only
God.
exception, luckily I wasn't alive yet, so I was born in '96, so I'm 23 now, and
Okay.
I didn't experience the Kotite years, but I heard there was no hope in those 2 years at all.
I was too young to really vividly remember the Kotite years. I remember the 1-15 season, and that was bad. That was. I think the one win we had was in Arizona, and we had season tickets at the time, so we went to every game, and it was just miserable and cold and just not good. But I do
It's not
remember
worth your time.
I remember being younger, and I guess it would have been 99. It was the 98 season into the 99 playoffs. And the Jets beat the Jaguars at home in the divisional round. And that was probably one of the most exciting games that I've been to. I mean, I went to the Jumbo Jet comeback, Miracle in the Meadowlands. That was a cool game. But
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's gonna be freezing cold. I just realized when I'm going to this Raven game. So I've been to Baltimore Harbor a lot. It is cold there in the winter, man. Oh my
I'm
god.
sure.
And I'm gonna probably watch the Jets get their asses kicked.
Yeah, but you get to watch Lamar Jackson, run wild.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be really exciting, and I don't know. Maybe that will be somehow a memorable game. We have the number 1 defense against the run. I know Lamar runs totally different than running backs do, but who knows? Maybe that somehow helps us.
Fingers crossed, dude. Thank you for calling in. I love your face, love your voice. Appreciate the call. Yeah, I think Lamar Jackson is going to absolutely rip us a new one. He's gonna there was a point if we had won the Bengals and Dolphins game, which it shouldn't make any sort of sense. If we win, we should be looking at this Ravens game. But I felt like the Jets actually matched up relatively well to what the Ravens like doing. They like running the ball, and the Jets are the number 1 rush defense in the NFL, and there was a thought that maybe they could slow them down, or they could catch them trying to just get an easy win. But unfortunately, probably not.
Call from
Vinny.
Vinny, what's up, dude? Welcome to the Cockpit.
What's up? The pain.
Dude, it's so bad.
The quote's opening and go, oh, the pain, bro. Oh, the pain.
Dude, it's just so bad. My buddy Robbie's in the chat going, Thursday nighter versus the Ravens coming up. Let's go Flock.
We're gonna get killed.
He's a Ravens fan.
Killed. We're gonna get absolutely killed, and then we'll just receive 1,000 comments from Ravens fans of why Lamar Jackson was superior, and how we made the foolish error of not drafting him.
I don't think we'll get that many because I don't think there's a lot of
We'll get them because, and here's the thing that people don't realize why Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen are playing better than the rest of the class is.
Thank you, Steve.
They went to organizations that were great, that were well run and well coached, and knew how to put the right pieces around them to succeed.
Yeah.
That's why they're winning.
Yeah, I mean, those rosters are also significantly better. You look at the Bills, the Browns, and the Ravens, and they're teams that trade up to get quarterbacks. Like, not so much the Browns. The Browns stunk for a long time, but the Bills were a playoff team. They traded all the way up to, what was it, number 8, I think, or 7 to get their quarterback?
Seven.
So they trade up to get him, and
No,
then
I think it was
the
either
Ravens trade
7
up
or 8,
to the back end of the first round. That team was a good team. That's a solid coaching, solid GM.
Oh, you know what's a fun fact that I looked up?
What?
Of the original 8 AFL teams, that the 2 that had the least success are the 2 that have the most success outside of the AFL.
Really?
You know what those 2 teams are?
Those 2 teams had the least success and then have the most success. So I would say it's got to be the Ravens and Patriots.
No, Ravens were not an AFL team. It's the Patriots and the Broncos.
Oh, okay.
They were the 2 worst teams in the AFL, and think about it. And the other funny thing is all the teams that won AFL championships being the Bills, the Titans, the Jets, the Chiefs, the Raiders, and the Chargers, they've combined for what I think it's so... They've barely had any success outside of the AFL, with the exception of the Raiders. Do you ever find that ironic that the teams that had the most success when it was just the 8 of them are the teams that have the least success right now?
That's very funky. There's a lot of tinfoil hat theories out there that say the NFL's rigged, and there's part of me that feels like the NFL is like this close to being the WWE.
One thing can I ask you?
Go on. What?
Are the Patriots the most? Are they the worst 10-2 team you've ever seen?
Probably not. No, I'm sure there's a 10-2 team out there that's looked worse. As long as you have Belichick and you have Brady, you have a shot to win. And I have a very...
I think the thing is, like I said that in my comment earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could honestly lose the East this year.
I think there's an outside chance.
They're incredibly, like I said. You know what? You saw it when they matched up against explosive offenses.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense looks clueless, like they have no clue what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
And who do they face next week?
I don't know.
Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Oh, I haven't looked at the schedule yet, dude. I don't know.
Who are, by the way, mind you, the fastest in terms of their playmaker speed. Mm-hmm. They are the fastest in the NFL.
I can believe it for sure. Tyreek Hill alone is one of the fastest guys.
And their defense has actually improved as the season has progressed.
Yeah, I think.
Considering how anemic the Patriots are, would it surprise you if they lost that game?
No, it wouldn't shock me at all. I mean, you look at the Patriots' schedule; they had a very, very easy first 10 games or whatever. It was like it's a joke how easy it was. And then
the moment they play a real team, they got curb stomped, and then they got curb stomped again.
Yeah, no, it makes me feel good. I like seeing that.
That was the saving grace for me last night.
I really don't want to see
the Patriots lose.
I don't want to see the Patriots get into home field throughout. They've just beaten up on such a terrible, terrible AFC East for so long. And I just want to see another team get it. I want to see Baltimore go all the way and win it. I really like Lamar Jackson. I like John Harbaugh a lot. He's the head coach I want the Jets to have, but I know it's never going to happen.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I know how you feel. I just want this team to do. I just want this point to. You know what drives me nuts every time I see in your chat the morons who keep on talking about drafting a wide receiver first.
Hey, look, if the offensive line looked all right and we were able to get,
Sheriff... If this was the 1968 Jets offensive line, I would agree with you.
Dude, we need offensive line. You never want to say across the board that I absolutely believe it's got to be offensive line.
I'm going to say our weapons are adequate. They're not great, but they're adequate. You look at what the Bills did.
Sure.
They didn't go for the flashy moves.
Yep.
With the exception of them trying to go for AB, which backfired.
Yeah.
But that was a trade.
Yeah.
But they weren't going to sign him. They were going to try to trade for him. So that's different.
Yeah. I think that's.
They made the smart moves. They made the smart, solid moves that the Jets should have made. They probably shouldn't have drafted Le'Veon Bell. Signed Le'Veon Bell. They should have probably not signed CJ. They probably should have focused on anchoring the offensive line.
Yeah.
Get some decent, solid weapons, and maybe some under the radar signings on defense.
Look, what I said we should have done. We should have. I was saying we should have had Justin Houston. We should have traded for him. He was on a relatively inexpensive deal. He wound up signing for more money than I think his deal actually was. Exactly,
but like I said, you have second most incompetent manager in general manager in franchise history, Mike McCagnon.
He was terrible, real bad. I tried to defend him as best I could. I was like, look, maybe I could see this.
You know what's sad when you can say the Jets' best general manager is and the Jets' best head coach are the same person.
Yeah, Parcells?
No, Webb Eubank.
Okay. Look, Vinny, I love you for the call. You got 5 seconds. I'll talk to you next week. I'll see you in the comments.
Let's pray they make progress.
You're out of here! Let's pray they make progress. Look, I don't know. I think the Jets are in a world of hurt, and I think we do need to go offensive line in the first round. I'll give Joe Douglas the benefit of the doubt. If he thinks he can fix this offensive line and he can draft and sign guys outside of using that number 6 overall pick, number 5 overall pick, whatever it is, then I'd take a wide receiver in the top half of that first round. But until we learn that,
Kabir
offensive
Karani.
line.
To accept.
What's up, brother? Welcome to the Cockpit.
What's up, Brian? Victory Monday. How you feeling, man?
Not Victory Monday. Very sad Monday. Just curb stomp Monday. Not feeling good.
Last week, I felt so good. Like, going into Thanksgiving, I wanted to do something. I felt good.
Oh,
and
yeah.
This week is gosh.
Dude, just got smacked around. I felt good all week. It was nice watching the Cowboys kind of lose to the Bills. Even though, we want to see the Bills lose, it still made me feel kind of good. I feel like there's a little bit of a brotherhood between the Jets and Bills, and there's a little bit of hate, too, because it's like the real New York team versus New Jersey team, whatever. But Josh Allen and Sam Darnold are friends, and I think that helps the rivalry a little bit. I think, Josh Allen isn't really a guy that I hate. Like, his personality, I think the worst thing that I saw from him was he had, some really racy kind of tweets from, when he was in middle school or high school. So, as far as, a guy goes, he seems like a pretty decent person.
And also, he has he has great potential.
Dude's a freak. He's got a cannon for an arm. He runs like a gazelle. He can't take him down. He's like Cam Newton. I think that's probably what we're going to see. We're going to see 10 years of this guy being a brick shithouse, and then his body's going to start falling apart from taking all the hits. And that's where I like Sam. Where I like Lamar also, but Lamar's the same sort of kind of quarterback. How long is his career really going to be? But you may not need a 15-year career if you're going to put up, 8 to 10 years of Super Bowl caliber quarterback play. If Lamar Jackson wins a Super Bowl, it will all be worth it for him, even if he only plays, 7, 8, 9 years.
Yeah. All right. I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on Le'Veon Bell? Do you think he's re-signed? I don't understand. What's this offense? And I don't know, man.
This offense has me questioning everything because I really like Le'Veon. I don't want to get rid of a player that I think can help this offense. But, man, we are not using him the right way at all, and it is very scary. Yeah. I could see us trading him. I have to look into what his cap hit would be and what we would get in return possibly. When you think running back, God, it is real hard to think that a team's going to give up anything of significant value for what will be a 28-year-old running back, I believe, next season.
Yeah, I think so as well, yeah.
That's tough. Maybe you get... my prediction would be a third-round pick. If you get a third-round pick for Bell...
Really? Wow.
I think you get a third for him. I don't think you'll get much higher than that. But that being said, you're probably getting a later third, a team that's, it could be like the Steelers that might have a bad season, or it could be a team that has a good offensive line. Maybe the Eagles, a team that has connections to Joe Douglas.
They need receivers, man.
They need They need some weapons. They have Jay Ajayi, who they just signed. Yeah. Maybe his legs don't hold up the way you want, and he goes back over there. That's something that I think could potentially happen. I always look at teams that our GM has connections with. So teams like the Ravens, guys we bring in. Tom Compton was from there. Or no, sorry, Alex Lewis was from there.
Alex Lewis, yeah.
And then I think we have a cornerback from there as well. But then you look at the Eagles. I'd have to look. I don't remember. I remember signing a cornerback off their practice squad. But you have the Eagles and the Ravens, I think, are going to be the two teams that we would potentially pluck talent from or trade within if we felt like it might be a good situation. Trading Bell, I think we could get a third-round pick. I'm good with it either way. I think going after Bell this offseason was the right move. You look at the amount of money we had left over in salary cap space anyway. We had plenty of space to sign the good players that we wanted to sign. We wanted, a Mitch Morse. We wanted a Matt Paradis, or I wanted Justin Houston. These guys, we could have had these players, but they went elsewhere. We're not a desirable team. So when you get a player like Le'Veon Bell, who's in his prime, who wants to come to the Jets because we have the money, I'm okay making that play.
Yeah, I understand it. Because I also don't know, is Sam Darnold's strength, is this team really that running team? I know, the Seahawks, they force it with Chris Carson. A lot of these teams, they really run the ball, and I feel like Adam Gase is just that's not his style of play.
I think he realized really how bad this offensive line. This is probably one of the worst offensive lines we've ever had.
We need to rebuild. This whole team is not a one-year project at all. This is big. Left tackle Beachum. I mean, I had hope for him. I was thankful for him on Thanksgiving, but
sure,
I don't know what happened, man.
I'm okay with chalking this up to a very good defensive line in Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap. I would still go after the top left tackle in the top half of the first round. If we trade Jamal, we get that center, and then maybe you move Beachum over to the right side. I don't know if he's equipped to do that. You have Edoga, you have Shell, but Shell and Beachum are both up after this year. I think we need to at least replace two of our starting five.
And isn't Beachum getting a $9 million contract or something? So do we have to that has to be high?
So he's actually a free agent at the end of this year, so he will be let go and probably not re-signed, or we'd have to re-sign him in some capacity. But I don't think we're going to give him a whole heck of a lot of money. Boom! Thank you for calling in, dude. I appreciate the call as always. What do you guys think about this little stat thing on the side window right here? Is that something you guys want to continue to see? Is that the gist of some of the stats that I felt were interesting, as opposed to the chat that's over there? I think it's a little bit more interesting. T-Jazz says yes. I like it. TJ Decker, like the stats there. Very cool. Oh, we got our boy Chris from Florida calling in.
Call from
Chris from Florida.
What's up, dude? 2 calls in one night.
Yeah, so I had to because I want to talk some normal football about this game. I had to get my aggression out, and this is the only way to do it with some true fans.
I like it. This is supposed to be a forum for us Jet fans to just vent and talk about stupid stuff.
So one thing I wanted to talk about first, because I know you mentioned that you didn't watch the game and everything because you were working.
Yep.
So I feel like those who did watch the game, and I hope the comments can agree, there was a very lack of penalty calls on the Bengals, which was surprising because they had been collecting a lot throughout the season.
Yeah, they had actually here. You know what? I'll pull that up while we're talking about it because Bengals penalties. They had penalties. God, can't spell tonight. They had 2 penalties for 15 yards, one of which was a deliberate delay of game that was a 5-yard penalty that allowed them to kick a little bit closer to our end zone. And the other call, I believe, was a block in the back that was a very nitpicky call, so they could have had no penalties. So you look over the course of the season, it looks like they've averaged about 7 penalties a game. Against the Ravens, they had 1 penalty. That was the lowest they had this season. 2 would be next, and that was us. Everything else was 4 or above. So they definitely had less calls than we got to see from them. I think they played a complete game, in terms of shutting us down. I think getting Andy Dalton back was a big shot in the arm for them. And, I'm sure he was real motivated after getting benched.
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe the Bengals looked at it like kind of how when we got Sam back for the Cowboys game, it brought some juice and life back. Watch them lose the rest of the season, no wins after that.
Yeah.
Be the only team to give them the W. I will say this though, I felt like a lot of the calls on us, as I said before, the referee was the same ref from Miami game, and when I saw those penalty calls, a lot of them didn't make any sense, such as the one that held us back that gave Bengals the safety. I'm looking at it, and you can see him was trying to escape that. He was just like, "Hey, all right, you passed me. Here you go."
Yeah, it was kind of it was a weird play because when a player, I don't know if he threw his hands up or down. I remember watching the replay, and I'm watching it over and over again. I'm like, kind of ticky-tacky. It's the right call. You probably want to run the ball there just to get yourself out of the end zone because it's so easy to get a holding penalty and to get a safety, and you don't want to put it in the ref's hands. I wish we would go away from the ref we have now, like the in-person ref, and we just do, an electronic ref or whatever it is. You can get a lot of these calls right. You can get rid of the holding penalties. Only call holding penalty if it's egregious, if they're running through the a hole and there was a holding penalty, or if the quarterback was able to get a pass off because the left tackle held the guy real long. When you see that sort of stuff, yeah, absolutely call it. But other than that, I'd like to see them play a little bit more. And I think the NFL, I think refs in general, you see it in basketball a lot. There's a lot more, potential to rig a game, I guess. But the thing I see in the NFL, there's a lot of subjective plays that give up a ton of yards. The play, offensive pass interference or defensive pass interference is such a huge penalty. And it's almost not a game anymore. You can't even really, let the defensive player fight for the ball. He's afraid he's going to pull up. He doesn't want to ruin his career by hurting someone and losing money. It's a weird NFL that we're in right now.
Yeah, can you believe Sam got hit in the ribs and got a bad knee, and he's okay? I'm really happy about that.
Dude, I want to shut him down for the rest of the season. Like I feel so bad for the kid. He's doing as much as he can, and I'm really proud of what I'm seeing out of him overall on the entire season. Like even though he's had a few weird, questionable kind of calls, I still believe in this guy, and I really think
he's definitely progressing.
Oh yeah, I think he's progressing, and that's one of the things that he likes Adam Gase. I think they understand what works and what doesn't work. I just think they don't have time from the offensive line. I think if you get an offensive line, that this offense might be all right. You can get Robbie the ball. You could run play action, but if you run play action, you're getting sacked.
So bringing up the offensive line, I definitely think that we should make some trades for this. Honestly, even though we could still potentially have move towards a higher draft pick, I'm okay with going down because we'll just have more draft picks if we make the right trade.
Sure.
To collect a full offensive line, especially during the second round or late half first round and then early second round. But I think we can make better trades instead of giving up some of our key star players. Yes, we can get a lot more picks, but some other players can still window that. For example, Marcus May, he's definitely someone I would be okay with trading off. And let's see, what was that? Chris Herndon. He has. I know he's a good tight end and everything, but it seems like Griffin has already got that extension, and we could definitely. He's got a good connection with Sam Darnold. What about you?
I have a hard time wanting to move on from Herndon because I think when I looked at him in the preseason, it looked like he was going to be a big part of this offense. And even the way we ran the ball or ran the offense yesterday, we had a lot of 3 tight end sets, and I think we could really utilize him moving forward. So I wouldn't move him. May, I think you're going to have to make a decision on. You either keep him. He's going into the last year of his deal next year. So he's got a 4-year contract. You either decide to trade him because you're not going to re-up him because you're going to sign Jamal Adams, or you trade Jamal because you know you're going to re-sign May.
It's just hard to get rid of such a key defensive player. It's such a heartbeat. Even Adam gave praise to Jamal Adams, saying that's the heart of our defense. I was like, whoa, did you just really say a compliment?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Look, Jamal is a heck of a player, and I really like him, but you can argue that the Jets' strength right now is in positions that are not premium positions. Running back, we got a lot of money devoted there. It's not a premium position. You got defensive tackle, 3rd overall pick. Jamal Adams, going to need a lot of money. Chris, 2 seconds.
All right, let's go, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
You're out of here! Good stuff, Chris. You guys are more than welcome to call in more than once if you think of something else to talk about. I'm watching the game on the side as well. I got to get me like a TV that I can kind of throw up on the side and just have the game going as opposed to watching the stream here and taking up a window panel. Switching back and forth between the chat and everything. Justin Levine, the NFL has been rigged since 2016. The NFL has been rigged since the whole tuck rule game. You want to get the tinfoil hat on. That's you can go down that rabbit hole. But man, yeah, that's rough. Vapor Gaming, yes, you called it on the meme I posted. It would be just like the Jets to lose this game, and we did. TJ Decker, that call on Beecham for the safety was correct. Bad play call, though. I'd rather go 3 and out inside our own 5 and not get a safety. I agree, because at least you don't give up the 2 points and you kick the ball away, probably roughly in the same-ish area. Like, you're going to be near midfield regardless. Maybe you think you risk getting an interception or something. I've seen teams give up the safety just to give it up, but we are not a team that should be doing that. T-Jazz, New York. I'll call in at 9:30 if you've ever seen my YouTube videos. Probably not. I probably have not seen your YouTube videos. I have a tough time trying to keep up with, like...
Brett in Florida.
Everything. Brett in Florida, what's up, dude?
Hey, man.
Wait,
that was me.
I was going to say, I was talking
going
to you.
Cincy. Come on.
I was like, I know I was talking to someone from Florida, and I was like, I can't remember if it was Chris or Brett, but it was you. You didn't wind up going, right?
What a great trip it was. No, hell no, I didn't go.
Oh, thank God.
I actually got lucky. Someone I work with, they ended up getting tickets to the Lightning Hurricanes game, and we had a suite.
No, there you go.
I had it was unbelievable. Yeah, it was great. First time I ever had a suite at a sporting event. It was awesome.
That's absolutely huge. Being able to,
cool.
I've never been in a suite before. I've only ever been in the nosebleeds. I've been up close, I guess, to games, but I've never gotten the chance. I think the best seats I've ever had in any game, I sat right on the foul line for a Yankee game. That was pretty cool.
That's cool. Yeah. But thank God I didn't go to this game. It was absolutely awful.
Oh, it was dog crap.
I mean, bells drop and then burial. I mean, we don't have to go through it. It's disgusting. It makes me sick. And honestly, at this point, man, I hate this team. I hate everybody on the team except for Darnold.
Oh God,
I really don't like anybody. I like Darnold. That's it. And Gase, I really my first instinct, as much as I want to blame Gase, I couldn't blame this game on him. I mean, the commentators are blaming him for not running around the ends and stuff.
Sure.
I guess, that's a legitimate thing you could say. And, this goes back to us not having a fullback because I like to play I-form football.
Yeah.
But when I just watched that game, it was it was bad playing. I have to blame the players on this game. The holding calls, the drop passes. I can't blame Gase for that. I just can't.
That's. I mean, you could say that it could be coaching that prevents could prevent penalties and things. Sorry, I got to take a comment question. RJ MacPot 720 donated $5. Thank you very much again. Sorry I didn't clarify. I meant in general, and a head coach that's still with this team. My answer is Pete Carroll, 7-9 season, then playoff contender every year. Oh, RJ Mack. He had called it, or he commented in earlier, what coach had a very bad career start and then had a good career after that. So RJ MacPot with Pete Carroll. Very good, very good. Thank you very much for the donation. Go on. Sorry, I think I cut you off there.
Yeah, so, I mean, at this point, I'm kind of back to I just think we should build O-line. I'm honestly okay trading Adams. If we get a first round and a third or, I think do it. Although, now the last caller or person you were talking to mentioned about May. Now, that's actually a good idea because May has played pretty well overall.
Sure.
And we could look at moving him and maybe not having to give up Adams, of course, and then, maybe we can get – I don't know what we can get for May. We could probably get a second-round pick for May. He's pretty solid.
I think you could net a second-round pick. I think a third is probably a little more realistic. I have a tough time believing that a team looks at May and sees, the healthy model of May. I think they're going to try and pick apart, the guy's been hurt. You got Adams.
That's true.
We know you're trying to
we're
get rid
just
of
looking.
him.
He's playing well this year. He hasn't always, last year he was invisible.
Yeah.
And Herndon, I mean, it's still when I look at it, and I'm not. I'm making. It's not like I like Gase that much or anything, but
sure.
I mean, we have been destroyed. Herndon out for the season, Williamson out for the season, Mosley out for the season. I mean, it's a joke. We got screwed this season.
Did you see the video I made of? I think it was something for hope or whatever. Reasons for hope, and it was the injury bug that we've had is nothing short of amazing. It's so we have. I think it was if you include Mosley on this list, who may not play again the rest of the season. We have $62 million allocated of our salary cap on the IR. and the next closest teams are like 40 million or so. There's 3 of them in a row. It was the Redskins, the Panthers, and the Redskins.
Yeah, the money.
And the Panthers.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And it was $20 million of their quarterback is sitting on the IR. So when you take away the quarterback, because that's the reason why they're doing bad, it's not even close. The Jets have like 62 million in assets that are sitting on the IR, and then the next closest team is probably like 31 million. It's like double the next closest team. So if you think that the Jets could come back next year and wind up with 15 to 20 million on the salary cap for the IR, then we're looking at a significantly better team. Now, the argument is with us this year is that the people that are on IR are probably not worth starting anyway, outside of like Avery and Enunwa and Mosley.
Yeah, yeah. Now, and another thing I want to talk about is Bell.
Sure.
So, I mean, watching him play, he's being utilized incorrectly. 100% agree that he could be. He's like last week when we won a game, he was playing receiver and doing good.
Yep.
Okay, and then for some reason we forgot that 6 days later, or 7 days later. I don't know why, but I will say like his running style. I'm not and I think he's. I do like him. I mean, I think he's like excellent. I'm not a huge fan of like that running style as like unique as it is. Like I like a guy who like I like a guy who like kind of hits the hole like and just rolls. Like I like when Powell comes in and just rolls with it. But the bottom line is, if we're gonna have Bell, and we need the offensive line has to be like elite to support that kind of style. Because like he's all about patience and like holes actually opening up, which our offensive line does too. But I mean, it's like if we're not gonna upgrade the offensive line significantly, then we should trade Bell, because it's like if we're not going to use him in the passing game, and his running style doesn't work unless the offensive line is like elite runners, because he's slow to hit these holes. It's like we may as well just get what we can for him at this point.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth in that. I think if we're not going to be able to actually utilize him the way he needs to be utilized, why even have him on the team? He's just taking up salary cap space. You're wasting years of a prime running back who's really good. I mean, you wind up sending him to any team with an offensive line, and he is just an absolute stud.
But then going back to what you said, it was like I didn't mind signing him when we thought we were going to be good, because like you said, it's not easy for us to get people, and then we almost had like Barr, and people were signing here, it seemed like.
Sure.
But at this point, I mean, I'm not like 100% out on Gage, to be honest with you. I'm not 100% thinking he's like 100, like just the worst thing ever. Yes, he's been bad. I mean, there's been a lot of really unencouraging games. But I will say the games that we win, I really liked what I saw. So that's why I'm like not 100% out on that yet.
Sure.
But our defense, the fact that he's been coexisting with Greg Williams, and there are 4 games left, but they haven't like thrown punches at each other yet.
Sure.
That's positive, I suppose.
I think the positive for me is that it doesn't appear like the Jets have lost the locker room. Like Gase has still got this guy, has the team's attention, at least right now. If we lose to the Dolphins, maybe that falls apart. But who do we got left? We got the Dolphins, we got the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Bills. So
yeah,
2 games.
I don't like rooting
win.
against us. I don't like rooting against us, but it's over. And at this point, I just want to see Sam stay healthy, no major injuries, and it's actually that time where we got to kind of just hope we get a good pick. It's over.
It's tough because you root for a win, because a win, it goes well with the culture. You try to get Sam some confidence going into next year. You want to look good for some free agents, so you want to get the wins. But, if you get the loss, who cares? You get a better draft pick. Gravy. That's awesome. We need him regardless.
Yeah, and just looking at the side, I'm looking at the stats that the draft that keeps flashing up that you have, and I do like those stats, by the way.
Thank you.
And yeah, I mean, if you look at it, we there's a lot of teams there, and you could get a top 5 pick. And
sure. Yeah.
I don't. And then that's a whole other thing. It's like that's another thing is Joe Douglas is like all behind Gase. So. Yeah. That comes to the organizational part of this. It's like, if Gase is going to be, 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 if G it's like, is this just like a regime of both of them, or is it one or the other? It's like, it's so confusing. I don't even know who knows. So apparently the owner is behind both of them.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, whether it be financial, he doesn't want to pay another coach, or Joe Douglas says he's behind Gase. I guess he did kind of get him the job, so I suppose that's not a lie.
Look, I think they're friendly.
We just got to trust Joe Douglas at this point. We have no choice.
Yeah, look, I think they're friendly, Gase and Douglas, and I think if we were to pull the trigger on Gase and get rid of him, it would come from Chris Johnson. It would be like, hey, I feel like this is the best decision we make. I'm going to allow Joe Douglas to select the next head coach of the Jets, and that's how it would go. It wouldn't be Joe Douglas trying to push Gase out. Like, I think there's very much a mutual respect there. I would be okay with Greg Williams being the head coach. I don't know if Greg Williams wants to be a head coach, so I think this would have been the offseason for him, like this past one, to actually get a head coaching gig. But I don't know. I think we're stuck with Gase for next year. I don't necessarily think it's a terrible thing. Look, I would be fine. I was very much okay after the Dolphins game with the Jets getting rid of Adam Gase. There's something to be said with the way the Jets have opened up games, and they've, those first 15 scripted plays or 20 scripted plays, the Jets have actually looked okay in some aspects of it. Not great, but I think with the injuries,
there's a chance that we're really, really bad, and like everyone's saying, well, we have talent, and like we're like a lot of people say we're not as bad as our record, or we should be better. And I'm looking at our team, and I'm like, dude, we suck. Like, our offensive line is horrible.
I think it's the worst offensive line we've ever had, at least since I've been alive. It's like we suffered through some Wayne Hunter, like some bad players.
I've never seen worse run blocking. Like, there's not been one hole for Bell the entire season, except that holding play, which got called back.
Dude, the fatties up front used to love to run block, and these guys are an embarrassment. Dude, you got 2 seconds. Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it.
You're out of here!
Love the call in. I'm going to have to change my little timer thing if I do these stats, or I have to shift the stats down, because my timer, you don't get to see the chicken launch out, except for, like, the very bottom of it. Cooper, my buddy in the chat, Darnold has been good while out of the pocket. He has been good. I like watching Sam get out of the pocket. I wish he would run the ball when he gets out of the pocket and there's grass in front of him. That would be something I'd like to see us actually, take advantage of. What else we got going on there? To be honest, I feel like practice squad players play harder than the starters. It's more to prove. Look, when you are in a losing season, the stars on your team very much protect their own body. It's almost like that play. I don't know if you guys saw the Jalen Ramsey play. They were just getting thumped all game by, I believe it was the Ravens, and there was a run play where Ramsey ran 15 yards down the field while not trying to do any sort of tackling. It was pretty bad. Doug Lass says, "What pocket? Fresh Blitz. Hello, welcome to the chat." Vapor Gaming, is Quinnen Williams bummy? I really haven't seen him. Vapor, look, I don't think that Quinnen has really shown his full potential yet. He's still a young player. I think he's 22 years old, so he's got some time to grow. But with the 3rd overall pick, man, you really wish you could have seen a little bit more out of this guy. Hindsight, you definitely take Josh Allen. When I said I would call in if you watched my videos, I didn't mean that. I meant if you saw them, you would know that I'm not that old. That's all right, dude. I expect most people that are kind of watching on YouTube. Actually, I shouldn't say most people. I get a lot of people that are my age and older. We got Grandpa Mark. Hopefully he calls in at some point. We got 40 more minutes to see that happen. Jordan Jenkins, invisible his whole career. Jordan Jenkins, he looks like someone we should re-sign. I would still re-sign Jordan Jenkins, although I think with our team playing poorly, it's sort of netting us cheaper contracts. So possibly a benefit or a lucky thing to have happen. Brittany Zabrowski, Big Green here. What's good? Big Green, what's good, dude? You're under your wife's name, which is cool. Because now that means there's 2 girls in the chat. That means Becca's watching somewhere over in the bedroom, probably with me on mute because she doesn't want to hear me anymore. And then we got you. Connor, I don't want to trade Jamal Adams. I know. Look, I don't want to trade Jamal either, but I think for the long-term success of this team, unless Joe Douglas thinks he can really hit on some offensive linemen without using that pick, I would probably do it. Alex Snab, one of my favorite Giant fans, thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the chat.
Call from
Grandpa Mark.
Grandpa Mark, your ears were ringing. You were listening to the chat. You heard me talking about you.
Yes, I did. God damn it.
Oh, man. Talk to me.
But no, you see, I was debating on whether or not to call tonight because being a New York sports fan, I only have one hope in life, and that is my Islanders, and I'm watching the Islander games.
There you go. You know, Matt O'Leary's actually doing I think he's doing play-by-play for the website he runs. I actually asked him to come on today to see if he wanted to do that. He's actually busy the next 2 Mondays, so that third Monday will probably be when we'll get him back on here.
Oh, really? I'll have to check him out doing the play-by-play because, yeah, I like O'Leary a lot. You know that.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He posted a video just before I guess he went on. He's got one, stop making excuses for Adam Gase, so I'll have to check that out after my stream.
Yeah, I actually watched that early. It's a good video. You'll enjoy it.
Nice.
But, yeah, what can I say? There's absolutely nothing I can say that has not been said either on the internet or on the radio or on the TV. This team is just
inconsistent.
Once you think they're about to turn a corner,
yep,
they make a U-turn and go back in the opposite direction. You know, so. What can you do? I'm used to this, you know. I mean, I've been watching this team for decades, and this is. I'm
slowly going to become more and more cynical as this YouTube channel progresses, and we continue to just shit the bed on a lot of things. You're going to see the evolution of Ryan just losing his goddamn mind.
Yeah, I know. I hear you, man. Well, look. First of all, I don't understand why. Look. This whole Le'Veon Bell situation, I can't understand why he only ran him 10 times yesterday.
I agree.
It's mind-boggling.
It doesn't make sense, especially when you have a team that's ranked 32nd in run defense. There's got to be some way to get that done. I know our offensive line is terrible because you look at our run blocking, it's just as bad as their run defense, but you think we'd still get some kind of room to wiggle. But, man, I think the offensive line is just so historically bad, it's tough for me to really put a fair grade on Bell.
And what the hell happened to my boy Tom Compton?
Yeah, he got pushed around.
Oh, my God, he got pushed around, and then he's, practically humping that guy's leg.
Oof.
I mean, I couldn't believe that. I couldn't, literally.
Grandpa Mark,
like a dog trying to hump the guy.
I gotta tell you, TJ Decker just donated $4.99. It says Grandpa Mark is a calmer Joe Beningo.
Oh, my man Benigno. Yeah, he and I ought to get a room.
I could see you guys having a pretty good conversation. You are a PG version from what I've seen of that.
Well, you want me to be more rated R?
No. I like this. I like you. I'm not a big fan of Beningo. I feel like he rants to get a rise out of people, and that's sort of frustrating. But I understand where his frustration comes from because he's watched this team for as long as you have.
No, I'm not that old.
I'm not saying you're that old, but you know what I mean.
No, I think Benigno's about a dozen years older than me.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But I look. What can you say? There's nothing that I can say because, like I said, I'm so damn used to this nonsense.
Yeah.
That I just got to get back on the bandwagon again with the fire Gase and let's trade Jamal and let's get rid of Le'Veon and let's try to get back to where we can be hopefully in the future. But right now, once again, we stink.
We need offensive line.
Hey, wait a minute. The good news: we're not as bad as the Giants.
Oh, that's kind of nice, right? It still gives me a little bit of hope. Danny Dimes is dropping, coins all over the place. He's like Sonic when he gets hit by something. The little rings pop out and the football goes flying. He can't hold on to the ball.
Yeah, no, look, hey, one of the greatest things of all time, and I'll never forget, is obviously when Jamal stripped him for the TD. That's going to go down in Jets history.
That felt good. It felt nice to see that because, it's always nice when you can beat the Giants. There was probably not a whole lot of, I guess it's probably going to be the difference between them getting the first overall pick and them possibly getting the 5th overall pick for losing to us. Man, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens at the top of this draft, especially with this game coming up on Sunday. What do you think about the Dolphin game?
What do I think? I think the Jets are going to shit the bed again. That's what I think.
Look, it's hard to have any faith in the Jets based on what we've seen, and I don't see our offensive line getting any better at all. It hurts us, and I think not having the linebackers that can really set the defense up the right way, we're missing an entire tier of our defense.
Look, beginning of the season, my whole thing about watching the Jets this year, I kept saying to myself, I can't wait to watch Avery Williamson and C.J. Mosley playing middle linebacker.
I completely agree. That's why I don't want to get rid of Williamson. I really like Avery Williamson. And, fun fact, I actually got a message from CoStar, the website that Avery Williamson is affiliated with.
Right.
I guess there is a fan cast on December 11th. I don't know if that means everyone can view it on December 11th or that's just when I'll be there asking questions. But me and 3 other people, I think, submitted questions. And I think I have to submit a play also, I think, is the other thing for him to break down. But that could be a thing.
Oh, so you might actually get to do the interview.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I will. So the way it works is they have a moderator from CoStar who kind of goes back and forth. I have a feeling this thing is shot first, edited, and then put out, because if I were to ask something like, do you hate Adam Gase? Then it's a question that they're not going to air. They're just like, forget this guy. But
right.
The question.
Yeah, don't ask. Once again, I'm sorry to interrupt, but don't ask any union questions.
See, that was my question. The question I had was, what, with the collective bargaining agreement being up, what would you like to see added or subtracted? And I don't know if he'd be able to answer that or if he'd want to answer it. I mean, it's a solo kind of player thing. I mean, maybe I don't know. That's probably as close as I could get to like an interesting question like that. I had posted the comment question in a Jet forum, and I was like, hey guys, I need some help. What should I ask? Which, if you guys come up with anything, I don't want to have it kind of go towards his injury or towards him potentially being a camp cut. I'd like to have something a little more interesting. Like one question I would love to ask him is, do you think that offensive linemen should be required to wear oven mitts so that way we stop seeing holding penalties?
Yeah, that'd be a good question.
See, I would love for him to answer it. I don't know if he would wind up doing it or not, and I don't know.
Well, wait a minute. Speaking of Williamson, what is the situation? What do you think is going to be? You think they're going to get rid of him, or you think they're going to keep him?
So my gut feeling is that Douglas will not cut players just to save salary cap space. Like, I already think the Jets are probably a tough sell for a lot of free agents, and Avery Williamson likes being here. He's a good player when he's on the field. We're going to have a lot of cap space anyway. If his money is going to prevent us from signing someone, then I think we make the cut because we're paying C.J. Mosley so much. But I think after what happened this year with C.J. Mosley, with Avery Williamson, with all our linebackers, there's an argument that you hold on to him because you never know what's going to happen. I think he's got at least another year left on his deal.
Yeah, I think originally it was a 3-year deal McCartney gave him.
Yeah, so he'll have one more year.
Yeah, but look, whatever. Like I said, I don't. There's nothing much I could say about this team except, like I said, get rid of Gase and let's start trading people. Let's get some, good draft capital and let hopefully Douglas can do his thing and make some wise decisions for next year. But otherwise, it's over with, and let's go Islanders, goddammit.
Thank you so much, Grandpa Mark. I appreciate you calling in. We'll talk to you next week, of course, unless you want to call back in again. That's fine. I don't normally put you on the clock. Sometimes I put you on the clock. I had a commenter in there that said, "You don't put Grandpa Mark on the clock." So I didn't. There you go. Douglas, Blake Countless is listed as his backup. What the fuck is that? I don't know who any of our backups are right now. We're so injured that it's been a rotating door of guys off the practice squad. Evan Kagan. We still need our own stadium. Look, everyone's so up in arms about the Jets and having their own stadium and everything like that. And there's some things that would be really cool if we had it. But it doesn't bother me at all. It does not bother me in the slightest. I think the biggest thing that bothers me is like, oh, it's New Jersey and like we're the New York Jets. So if it were me and I could make a choice, I would have New York go to war with New Jersey and take back the Meadowlands. And we'll just keep the Meadowlands there, but it'll be New York. That's just that one section. It could be right there. We'll annex that. Maybe New York. We'll give New Jersey some upstate portion. You know, they could take Binghamton. They could take the whole city of Binghamton. Hey, that's now New Jersey. It's a little landlocked area in New York, but that's what's going to wind up happening. MetLife is a dump, and the Giants know it. MetLife, it sucks. It looks like a soup can. I hate walking around it, too, because you wind up having to take a zillion steps up just to go around these fucking booths and shit like that. I don't like it. Jason Rodriguez, start with getting rid of Gase. Lots of people think that. TJ Decker, Ryan, what do you think of Let's Talk Jets? Let's Talk Jets Radio. I haven't watched them too much. I do subscribe to them. I think they do a show on Tuesdays. Look, I would have those guys on here. Their YouTube channel's grown a little bit. They're up to 1,500 subscribers, maybe 1,200, something like that. They're in the thousands. Last I checked. I don't know too much about them. I don't listen to their podcast too much, or I guess at all. I've never listened to their podcast. I've watched their YouTube videos. That's about it. Christopher Valentine. That Compton guy had 2 straight garbage penalties. Yes, not good. False start and a holding penalty. Not good. The curse continues until we have our own stadium. It's possible. Nomadic franchise. Hey, you know what? The Giants don't have their own stadium either, so they can go kick rocks. Any chance the NFC East division leader finish at 7-9? I think it's probably what's going to happen. I think they finish at 7-9. It's either going to be Dallas or the Eagles, I think.
Call from
Big Green.
Big Green, what's up, dude?
Draft Alex Leatherwood.
Alex Leatherwood. Pick. Who is Alex Leatherwood? I have not done my draft research yet, so you got to tell me who this guy is.
Offensive tackle out of Bama.
Offensive tackle out of Bama. So there's a few guys that I've heard. Obviously, Andrew Thomas, I think, is the top one on a lot of people's lists. I heard there's a
Wilkins.
Yeah, there's someone with a W. Wilkes. I don't know how to pronounce it. Look, I'm good with any left tackle. We really need. I think top 10 pick. We're taking a tackle. I would put a lot of money on it. I said it last year when we were drafting. I was like, this year we're going to take an edge. It's an edge-heavy draft. We're going to do that.
It's an offensive tackle-heavy draft as well. So
last year when it was a defensive-heavy draft, the edge rusher.
Oh, yeah.
This year, I was saying, like, okay, next year it looks like an offensive tackle and wide receiver draft. It looks like it's still like that. And unfortunately, our offensive line is so bad that I would definitely take offensive line in the top 10. And I really wanted CeeDee Lamb. I was like, if there's a way we could have figured out a way to get CeeDee Lamb, I would really like to have him.
I still don't think we need like a true number one, because John likes to throw the ball to everybody. But
that's what I think too.
Antonio Gandy Golden.
Yeah. Dude, if we could get him at the end of the first or second round, like if we finish at like the 6th pick again, just because that's where we wind up finishing all the time. When do you think he'll fall in what round, because of his school and all that? Gandy Golden, so right now I think he's projected top half of the 2nd round, tail end of the 1st round. I think depending on what happens with him at the Combine, if he just blows, the metrics out of the water and he looks good, he'll rise up draft boards, and then we'll probably be out of range for him. If we trade Jamal and we have that mid-20s pick, I would still probably take the center, Biadasz, even if it's a little bit of a stretch, because I don't want to risk going into next offseason or next season in general. You figure you got a new left tackle with that first pick, you get the center with the second pick, and then whatever wide receiver is sitting for us at the top half of the second round, that's when I would go wide receiver, I think. I'm not as pressed for cornerback anymore. I'm pretty pleasantly surprised with what I'm getting out of Bless Austin. I think we should go after corner in free agency. I think Byron Jones is someone we should really target, along with a few other guys. You can't put all your eggs in one basket, but I haven't done all my research on who's going to be free.
Yeah, because we're losing a lot of free agents at the end of the year.
Yeah,
contracts are up.
We got Jordan Jenkins, Robbie Anderson, Alex Lewis, Beecham, Shell. Who else we got?
You can let them walk. Let Beecham and Shell walk.
Yeah, well, that's just it. I don't think anyone's going to give them any money. They'll get backup money somewhere. There's no one that's on this starting offensive line that I 100% confidently could say I want back as a starter for next year.
Oh yeah, they're completely trash. And you got to get rid of Gase too. Like I can't believe they didn't run anything to the outside.
Dude, I don't.
Like, every play, run up the middle, up the middle. Like really?
I want to give Gase the benefit of the doubt. If Joe Douglas
can you give him
likes
the benefit of the doubt? What week are we into, and what does he show you? You can beat teams with losing records. And then lose to people with no wins.
I think I have a hard time putting 110% blame on it. I probably give him like 80% of the blame. There's blame that's got to go around for Maccagnan building this roster. There's blame that's got to be going around for the injuries. Now, the injuries could be partially Gase's fault. Maybe it's the way they're practicing and they're just more susceptible to injury. We got to get this team healthy, and we got to get good players. The offensive line needs to be rebuilt first, and that's why I kind of am okay going into next season with Gase with a good offensive line. I don't want it to be this offense is anemic with a good offensive line, and then we didn't rip the Band-Aid off fast enough.
Now, who's actually going to be picking? Is it actually going to be Douglas, or is it going to be Gase? Because they have that whole triangle method.
At the top where I think it'll be a conversation more than it was in the last regime and with this last draft. Apparently, Mike Maccagnan did not want scouts to talk to the head coach because they didn't want an unfair bias when grading players. Now, that's just stupid. You want Joe Douglas to get a legit scouting department in here. That's why we have Phil Savage. There's rumors that we could get Todd McShay. Good people. Now we do, yeah, because Joe Douglas is coming from a scouting background. Now, I hope that we're doing our due diligence and we are going to, it's obvious to me that he knows offensive line is a huge issue. Sam's running for his life. He tried to get a top Pro Bowl lineman from Dallas in the Jamal Adams potential trade. I think that is a clear and telling sign that he knows that that's probably our weakest, area.
That and pass rush.
That and pass rush, yeah, for sure. The fact that we spent such high assets.
An offensive lineman, I'd be happy.
Yeah, if you can come away. Now, I don't know if there's anyone really good hitting free agency as a pass rusher. I know, Jadeveon Clowney is on the franchise tag. So he could theoretically hit the free agent market. I'd have to look around and see who else is hitting it, but I think we're probably going to have to try and find a draft. Ford, I think you're right. I'm pretty sure you're right. He went to the 49ers, I believe, and I think he's only on the 1-year deal.
Yeah.
I think. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. There's that Ja'Kai Polite pick really just bit us. This whole draft, Quinton Williams not being the stud pass rusher and advertised kind of disruptive force that we were meant to believe. I was reading a Pro Football Focus thing today, and he was like the highest graded defensive lineman, arguably higher than Bosa last year in college, and he has been just terrible this entire year. And people are going to argue the double teams and whatnot, but it was like, I think he's ranked like 46th or 50th out of 76 qualifying defensive linemen in terms of run stopping. And then, pass rushing, I think it was even worse. I think he was like 53rd 5th out of 76 or something.
Yeah, it's been disappointing for him.
Yeah, I would if we could trade him for a first round pick. I'd probably pull the trigger at this point, which is tough to say. But if you don't want to invest a ton of money into that type of position, we have a lot of money invested into running back, into defensive tackle, and into, at least asset wise, into safety with a first and second round pick being back there. We just have a lot of assets tied up in positions that don't generally help you drastically improve.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, I'll thought somebody else to call in. Go Jets.
Sounds good, dude. Thank you so much for calling in. Big Green tuning in to the cockpit as always. I'm going to let this timer run out so that way I can actually hear the chicken go. You're out of here! Not too shabby. Cooper, what are you talking about in the chat? Sports fans back. Thank you. With 2 minutes left in the second quarter, Gase has Avery Williamson still playing week 1 of the preseason. He tears his ACL. Look, I can't be 110% upset with that because you're training that linebacker to take over for Mosley if Mosley gets hurt, and it's just a freak injury. ACLs, it's not like you can really predict that's going to happen. Cooper talking about Dante Fowler potentially hitting free agency.
Matt,
what's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
What's up? I think I have an idea for how they can fix the draft. So
go for it. Let's hear it.
All right. So one, I think the biggest thing is that if Adam Gase is still the head coach next year, which sadly I think he is, I think you trade Bell.
Yep.
Because I think that there's no point of having Bell if he doesn't know how to use them. And I think he's saying like a $15 million cap hit. So what's the point of having him? So you get like a first round pick. I would also trade Quentin Williams and I think Jamal, to be honest.
Yeah, look, I think Jamal's probably gonna happen. I think the trade deadline was probably the throwing it out there so the fans know it's coming, it's gonna happen. It's not a shock when it happens off season, so you're not totally hating on the team when it happens. You've given players and fans like us a chance to kind of digest what could happen without Jamal. Quinnen, yeah, I would trade him. I could if we could trade him, I would be okay with it. And then Bell, I don't think you're going to get a first-round pick for Bell. I'm going to look up his contract right now. I'm curious to see what his breakdown is in salary. So let's see. 2020, his base salary is 8.5. So we'd have to take a pretty big cap hit, I'm pretty sure. He's got a $15 million cap hit. $13 million is guaranteed. So we are probably on the hook for a chunk of that. If we could get enough in return where it's worth it for us to eat that cap hit, like if we give him away to a team for a first round pick because we eat the entire salary, I'm cool with that. But I agree with you. I think Bell should probably be on the move because we can't use him the right way.
Yeah, but I don't know who the Jets would. I mean, honestly, I'll take anybody over Gase. Even I think it was Mike Greenberg, or whatever, was talking about they should get Jim Harbaugh, but I don't know.
Jim Harbaugh is one that I thought could be a potential, thing that could happen. He's been a quarterback whisperer. He had Andrew Luck. He had, Kaepernick playing real well. He did not do well in, Michigan the last few years, unfortunately, which gives you a little bit of concern. But with an NFL franchise, he's shown that he can produce wins. He can do, the right things for the quarterback. I don't know if his message gets stale over time. I think Gase, if he gets it right, could be a staple here for a long time. Jim Harbaugh tends to kind of rub people the wrong way. He's probably a 3-year, 4-year and done head coach, which, look, the Jets have been so bad the last few years. We've been 4 years and done with coaches anyway, for the most part, except for Rex. Rex was 6 years.
Yeah, well, with those first-round picks or the second-round pick for Bell, who do you think you would draft?
I would take. So let's pretend we're sort of where we are now. We're at the back half of that top 10. I'm taking a tackle. There's going to be 3 tackles that are probably going to be taken pretty high. Jets are going to get one of them at the 9th pick. If we trade Jamal, say we wind up with the 25th pick, I would take Biadasz, the senior, the center from Wisconsin. I think he could be there at our pick in the second round. I don't believe we risk it and run the chance of him not being there, so I think we take him at the end of the first. That also gives you the opportunity to have 2 starting offensive linemen with fifth-year option contracts. That's something I think they'll, take into account. Gandy Golden, a receiver at the top half of the second round, is someone that I'd look for, the wide receiver out of Liberty. I like Jackson, the receiver out of LSU. I don't know if he's going to fall that far to us. I think you're going to see some players kind of fall down, and a playmaker at the top half of the second round should be in the cards. What we do with Robbie Anderson is going to be interesting. I would like to see us re-sign him. I think he's earned a second contract with us. And then, so let's say we get a second-round pick for Bell. What do you do in the second round then? Do you try to take a corner? I could be talked into corner or pass rusher, I think, in the second round with that pick.
If you're going corner second round, I got from LSU, Fulton. He's pretty good.
Yeah, and then you have, at that point, you would probably have 3 third-round picks. You got to think you're going to get at least a first and a third for Adams, and we have the third for the Giants. So that's when you can really kind of cause some damage. Maybe you take a guard in the third round. I don't know. It depends who we lose and who we sign in free agency.
Yeah, there's a lot of good receivers, like later rounds and stuff.
Yeah. There's some interesting guys coming out. I really only know the top half of, I would say middle of the second round and forward. That's kind of where I'm comfortable with the wide receivers right now. I'll do my whole breakdowns that I do in the off season, where we'll do, hey, these are the guys that we could look at and go through them all. But right now, that would be at least how I'd sort of address it. I think offensive line, cornerback, edge, and then in the third round, best player available at, you got to replace Jamal Adams, so you could go best player available at safety. You could go a guard. You could go players that kind of go later in that round. Look, I think you could do a lot of good by getting rid of some of these guys. If you move Quinnen Williams for a first-round pick, that changes everything, because now you're getting a really good wide receiver. Figure you get say you get the Raiders pick and it winds up being the 18th pick or something like that. Now you go tackle, you go wide receiver, you go center, then corner or whatever, and all of a sudden this team looks drastically different. You got a bunch of young guys on young cheap contracts, and I'm okay with it. I don't think we're going to get enough value out of Quinnen Williams to the point where he's going to justify that third overall pick at this point.
Yeah, but you could also, if you move Bell with one of those third-round picks, you could draft one of those running backs like Jonathan Taylor, like Travis Etienne from Clemson.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of running backs that'll be 21, 22 years old that will be here for a longer duration. Powell's probably going to be done after this year. I think he was only on a 1-year contract. I don't even know who else we have. I don't know how long Montgomery's been signed for, but he hasn't done a whole lot. Yeah,
he's on a 1 year.
So we have a lot of pending free agents, which, we're going to need draft picks to fill.
It's true.
All right, dude. You got 5 seconds. One more thing. What do you got to say? Boom! You've been ejected. Sorry. Took too long. God. I love you guys calling in. This is a lot of fun. I've had a blast doing this live stream. And hopefully when we start being a better team in general, this live stream kind of kicks it into gear and we get a little more action in here. I'd like to get us at a consistent 100 each week, but having a terrible team is tough to do that. No one wants to talk about the shit poor Jets right now.
Call from
well, except for you 50 Jamokes.
Frank,
what's up, dude? Welcome to the Cockpit.
Ryan, good evening, my brother. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. It's another day in the life of a Jets fan.
Absolutely. I mean, they win 3 in a row, and I'm talking to one of my boys at work, and I'm like, dude, wouldn't it be the same old Jetsiest thing if they just lose to the Bengals?
I think a lot of people were like that. I didn't bring it up. I was like, we're going to win. We got this. Don't worry. I think a lot of people had that in the back of their mind. It's just every time we do something good, it's like, it's going to come crashing down. It's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been all over the radio today. I mean, this team doesn't know how to handle prosperity good, man. I mean, I don't know if they're reading their own clippings, believing the hype.
with the way the season was going, you had to take it one game at a time, 1 week at a time, and this team ain't good enough to look past anybody.
I completely agree.
Nonetheless, a winless team. I mean, what do you think? You're going to roll the helmets out there and just walk all over these guys? You know, I couldn't understand it. And then with Le'Veon, Gase only gave him the ball 9 times in the first half. It was like, this team is good. The defensive line for the Bengals is good on the interior, but they have problems on the outside. Why won't we go an outside edge on them?
You would think that would make a lot more sense. The whole in-game adjustments, or even just the awareness to know, like Adam Gase said, he sent home players early, and he was going to go home if you finished, his game planning and everything. Looks like he never even got started. He just ate too much turkey and fell asleep.
Absolutely, dude.
It was bad.
I mean, they averaged, what was it, 170? They gave up 170 on average during the season. Run around the edge.
Yeah, just do it. There's no reason. That's where you should be doing the screen passes and the swing passes and all that other shit that we saw earlier in the season. Like, what are we doing?
Absolutely, man. And it was just like, after the first half, abandon the run, let's just throw it. And your recap video after the game on Sunday was like spot on, dude. I mean, especially that play Sam rolled out to the left.
Yeah.
He goes across his body, the crowd. I mean, it goes low, and he totally missed him. But why didn't he just tuck it and run? He had all that greenery in front of him. It was like
it kills
ridiculous. Me. And as soon as it came up on your video, I was like, yo. I was thinking the same fucking thing when I was watching the game. Like, me and Ryan, we were both here, man. Like,
that's just it. I think a lot of Jet fans are watching. They're like, oh, he's got grass. Go. And then you watch the throw. It's like, it's the most awkward motion that he's like whipping it across his body. It's like, it's clearly not going to be on target. And I mean, if he gets it out in front of Crowder, good play, and we don't talk about it. But he had this issue, what was it, a week or two ago, where he had grass in front of him. He threw it, and I think he got an interception. Or it was like it was thrown into traffic and it should have been intercepted, whatever it was.
Right.
Look, the decision making for Sam has been the knock on him since college, and from what I've seen so far, if that's the worst we're going to get out of him, like that kind of like I'm okay with that, because he still shows enough of the wow factor to me to really make me believe that he's a franchise quarterback.
Absolutely. I mean, I hear guys talking about like trading Bell, getting draft capital. But wouldn't you want to keep him and plug the holes on the O-line and then see what he can do with, at least a brand new O-line out there, and, maybe lean on him more. Maybe Gase doesn't have the confidence because of the O-line and doesn't want to get this guy killed.
I agree. I think, look, if it were me, I'm okay if we trade Bell, because I understand the justification for it. If you're not going to use him, get rid of him. But I would very much like to hold on to him, because I think we're going to get like a 3rd-round pick for Bell, and I don't believe we'll find a running back as dangerous as Bell is in the 3rd round. Yes, we free up some salary cap space long-term probably, but I would hold on to him. I'd rebuild this offensive line. I would definitely be open to trading Quinnen Williams to help us rebuild. Yeah. And I've been pretty vocal as far as being all right with moving Jamal Adams. I think I can understand the logic there.
Right. I mean, he is the best player on the team.
He's really good. What kills me is, and I haven't.
But
you guys
I'm worried about the injury. Is it will it affect his trade value up or down? I mean, down wise.
I'd shut him down.
They say day to day.
I'd be very careful with him, because you want to make sure you're going to get at least a 1st-round pick from him. Now, maybe you don't get 2 firsts, or you don't get a 1st and 2 seconds. But I'm very much okay with trading Jamal. I think that's what's going to have to happen if we want to rebuild this offensive line.
Absolutely.
Dude, thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it. You heard the ticking. You are out of here. I will talk to you next week, I'm sure. God. This is great. See, I feel like the nation gets to know the callers that call into this show, because you guys are consistent every week. I get not the same callers. We get new guys in every week, but you get the Grandpa Mark, you get the Big Green, you get Chris from Florida, you get Brett from Florida, you get all these guys. Gangrene David will call in every now and then.
Call from T-Jazz.
T-Jazz, you said you weren't going to call in, then you thought you might call in. How old well, maybe I shouldn't ask you how old you are. You're saying you were younger. How young is younger?
I'm pretty. I'm 13 years old, but
That's all
how
right.
you doing?
That's cool, dude. What So what did you see watching the game yesterday?
It just felt like the team was unprepared for the game. Like there were rumors going on, like Sam Darnold went out and hooked up with a girl after the game, and the team went out to a party, and like it sort of felt like they were treating it like their Super Bowl, and they were unprepared.
Sure. Look, I'm all for celebrating because the way they beat down the Raiders, that was pretty cool, and I love, kind of seeing a little bit of that, and you get to see a little bit more of a human aspect of it. But I would have loved to have seen this team really hunker down. I think having Thanksgiving and, the night out, like they probably overlooked the Bengals more than they should have. I think we'll see a little bit of a sharper team coming out against Miami. I don't know if we're going to win against Miami, though.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we do, because I'm going to be at that game. It's going to be I think my first regular season game I've been to is Jets game, so I'm looking forward to that. I hope we can win.
I like it. What? Where are you sitting?
Huh?
Where are you
I'm
sitting?
sitting in I think in the 9th row. I'm not positive though.
Wow, nice. Those tickets could not have been very expensive based on what we're seeing out of our Jets. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
What? Are you going to tailgate before the game? Or are you thinking you'll, I guess it depends on weather probably.
I might. I don't know, because there might be snow. I think.
Yeah.
It's been snowing recently.
It would be very cool. The last snow game I went to. Oh, you know what? I don't know if I even went to this game. There was a Curtis Martin game back against the Steelers, which, I mean, geez, you must have been. I don't even know if you were born. 13 years old. What year is that? 05?
2006.
Whew, that's crazy. That's that feels crazy for me. Okay, so being that you're in that sort of age bracket, what is the game that you remember as the game as the New York Jets, that you think of?
Me personally, I think of the 2015 Jets versus Patriots. That was
a fun game.
When Eric caught that end zone, caught that back corner of the end zone, I remember that.
That was an awesome game. That was a lot of fun to watch. It absolutely crushed me that we lost to the Bills the following week, because I think it was the following. It was either 1 week or 2 weeks after, and it was just so deflating. But that Patriot game was a lot of fun.
Yeah, when I saw that Thompson kid drop the ball in that Bills game, oh my god, I thought that was his first sure touchdown. He went to the CFL or something.
It's amazing. Fitzpatrick completely forgot how to play quarterback that last week of the season, and Rex Ryan did absolutely everything in his power to smite us from getting after we got rid of him.
Yeah, he might have had bad luck with the team. I don't know how you can have such a great season and then just throw that all away.
It just completely went out the window, and we're seeing it everywhere that Fitzpatrick has been. He's had one great year, and then he's going to get re-signed by Miami. He'll be the backup quarterback for Tua or whatever, but they'll be like, hey, let's give Tua some more time to rest, and then Fitzpatrick's going to come out and just do terrible. He's going to earn a second contract just like he's earned everywhere, and then winds up, crap in the bed.
I wanted to know your take on the CeeDee Lamb, the receiver out of Oklahoma.
I love him. Big fan of CeeDee Lamb. I think right now Walter Sports has him going in the top 10. I probably see that. I think he's the best receiver in the country right now. Him and Jackson. A lot of people are going to say Jerry Jeudy. I like Jerry Jeudy. Have no problems with him. But I really like CeeDee Lamb a lot. I think he is really good.
Yeah, I think CeeDee Lamb could be like a DeAndre Hopkins type player if he lives up to full potential.
Yeah, I mean, you look at him. Have you had a chance to watch Gandy Golden at all?
Yeah, the Liberty guy that you put in your video?
Yeah. He's someone that's worth watching. I don't know where he's going to wind up falling. Jackson from LSU is a guy I really like as well. I think he's got a lot of talent. That LSU team is dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, if one of those falls to us in the second round, then I'd be jumping on that quickly.
Yeah, look, where do you fall on the whole Jamal Adams thing? You want to hold on to him?
Yeah, I feel like he's the leader of the team, and he's my favorite player. He's been my favorite player since he got drafted, so I really want to see him stay.
Yeah, so do I. I like Jamal a lot. I got his jersey this past offseason, And the trade deadline sort of soured me on him because it felt like he had one foot out the door. And that's kind of why I actually, if you've watched my videos, I haven't worn the Jamal Adams jersey really since the trade deadline. And that's a big part of it. I've sort of completely soured. I got my Jonathan Vilma jersey on right now. I'm repping that. Yeah, look, I don't know. I think Jamal Adams is probably going to get traded. I think we're going to try and get the offensive lineman at the back half of the second round. We'll turn him into an offensive lineman, and then we're going to wind up watching him play for 10 years, like just phenomenal football. That's what we're going to see, and it's going to hurt as a Jet fan because we're going to have a center or something that may or may not pan out, but, you know, I don't know. It's going to hurt.
Yeah, I mean, like, on the other hand, Jamal Adams could turn into a first-round pick in a second, probably. So.
Now, do you remember Darrelle Revis at all, or were you too young to remember Darrelle? Like prime Darrelle?
Revis Island? Yeah,
oh, yeah.
I remember that.
So when we lost Revis after he tore his ACL, we got the first-round pick from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that hurt. That was like probably the biggest shot in the gut because once you got rid of Revis, you knew this team was starting to rebuild, and they wasted that first-round pick on a cornerback that was supposed to be the replacement for him in D. Milliner, and we just could not get anything going. Sheldon Richardson, I guess, was technically the pick we got for the Revis trade. So in a roundabout way, Sheldon Richardson got us, or Darrelle Revis got us Sam Darnold because we traded Sheldon for the extra pick to get Sam.
Yeah, that trade hurt because Darrelle Revis was my favorite player on the team at that time.
Yeah,
so
he was incredible to watch. Did you see the picture of him during the Jets-Patriots game? He posted a picture of him hugging Belichick.
I don't think I did. I have to look that up. Yeah.
That one hurt me. Look on his Instagram; it's there. Thank you so much for calling in, dude. You've been ejected from the cockpit. See, it's not too embarrassing. You had some good questions. I like that. Don't ever think that you shouldn't call in because you're too young. That is not the case at all. A lot of you younger guys have some good insight. I have some things that cloud my judgment on things, but I like talking to you guys. Pretty good. Thanks for the call in. Alex Snell, both Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes had over 10 fumbles last year too. So I don't want to hear it. I don't know. That whole Danny Dimes dropping a bunch of change.
Hi, Andrew.
Andrew, what's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hi, long-time caller, long-time listener, first-time caller.
I like it. Good stuff. What's on your mind?
Yeah. Want to complain about the game plan
and
then also talk about the draft. So with what we've been seeing, like it's not hard. Why are you giving Le'Veon Bell the ball 10 times against a rushing defense like this? And when you're giving him the ball, why are you having him run it right towards Geno Atkins? What is the reasoning for this?
I think the rationale behind it, like you said, makes no sense. The running it right up the middle. I have a hunch, and I should buy like Game Pass or something like that where I could rewatch all these games and really break things down the way I want to. But I would like to see how many penalties we had that prevented us from really running the ball effectively. Because when you wind up with, maybe you threw the ball.
It was about 100 yards worth of penalties.
We had it was like 107 yards. If you throw the ball, you get an incompletion, but you had a holding penalty. Now you're back 2nd and 20. You're not really running the ball with any sort of, success at that point. You're basically just trying to get as many yards back as you can before you have to punt. Holding penalties absolutely cripple this team, and you look at it, we had like 3 holding penalties or 4 holding penalties, and one of them caused a safety.
Yeah, but see, that was my next point. If our offensive line is that bad, it's not that hard. You do a couple of different things. One, you do a bunch of mesh routes where you have like everyone going out 3 or 4 yards, and then you have the running back going out as a check down, and then utilizing him to get the yards, so that you're not put into the situation where your line has to hold for a while. Or if Gase was like an actual offensive guru, he'd realize, hey, I have 3 really good running backs on this roster. Let's put 2 of them out there in a double halfback formation and utilize them both in the pass and the run. That just seems like the best idea to do when you're playing such bad passing offense.
Yeah, look, I would have put Montgomery and I would have had Bell. I would have had Montgomery and Bell split out on either side of Sam all day, give them the extra help at the offensive line. If it looks like they're blitzing, have them block. If the guys back off and it's only rushing 4 guys, have them slide out into the flat, try to make some plays. And then
it would have made perfect sense to have, if you have Bell and Montgomery out there, run them both out instead of using 2 tight ends, and then just every play have one of them go out while the other one blocks, or the other hand it off to one or the other one blocks, or just have them both go out to pass out of the backfield. See if you can get lucky with one of the two. That's what you should do if your offensive line is that bad. But I think the moment I doubted Gase the most is, why would you tell people you skipped Thanksgiving to come up with this awful game plan?
I don't think he thought it would be as bad as it was. And look, there's part of me feels like it's tough to blame Gase for holding penalties and for false starts and these sorts of things. You got to put it on the player at some point. You can't just have it, fall on just the head coach. I think the players are just, we don't have NFL starting caliber players. That's what kills me.
Yeah, no, it takes me back to when Donald early in the season was throwing interceptions all the time because he was trying to play hero ball. But at that point, it kind of is on the coach because you have to make it clear to not try to make something happen when you need to throw it away. That's like that, for example, is on the coach. Like, he needs to drill it into the quarterback's head. Like, he can't make those throws. I mean, he did it, but it took him 4 weeks, 3 weeks?
Yeah. Now, you said you have 1:20 left on the timer. You said you had a draft question. What are you thinking?
Yeah, do not go, as much as I like that wide receiver you're talking about, do not go wide receiver in the first round. Use that to build up the offensive line. We have a first, a second, and it's probably going to be 2 thirds and 2 fourths. Package all third and one of the fours for a second, then just take, so you have 2 seconds and a first, use all 3 of those on the offensive line to just protect Donald. If your offensive line can hold, your receivers can get open.
Yeah, look, I agree. I think Sam is the type of quarterback that doesn't need a stud. I think if we had an offensive line, CeeDee Lamb is someone I'd really want.
Yeah.
I think we're going to...
Look what happened with Mark Sanchez. He went to 2 AFC championship games as kind of a crappy quarterback. And he didn't have any wide receivers. He just had a great offensive line.
Yeah, you look at the teams that are good in the NFL, they all have good offensive lines. And you got to take left tackle top of the draft. I think you have to move Jamal. You get the corner, or you get the center. It kills me because I would love to see us have success with Jamal. I just have a hard time buying it, I think.
I don't think we can get rid of Jamal. That's the one thing I disagree with. As much as I see why, but I don't think he can actually do it. He's too much of a leader. How much time do I have left? 5 seconds?
You got 2 seconds.
Yo, Jets,
you're out of here! Awesome. Thank you so much for calling in, dude. I appreciate it. I like the first-time callers. First-time callers are a cool thing. Guys, it looks like it's that time again. It's 10 o'clock. Gone past my bedtime. Past my, expected duration of this. T-Jazz saying we should do a full game stream. Not going to do a full game stream. Sorry. I'm not an old fart. You shut up. I don't know if I'm even going into work tomorrow. No, I guess I got work tomorrow. Guys, it's been real. I'll have another video out soon. I want to talk about Bless Austin a little bit more. I'll probably do something a little bit more devoted to him. Maybe we'll talk a little Jamal. Guys, I think the stat thing is here to stay. I enjoyed having the stats rotating through on that. I don't know, 44 guys in the chat. We have 38 likes. Come on, guys. Drop a little bit of love down below. Give me some love in the like comment. I want to see if I can get to 50 before Herndon and Griffin video. That would be a pretty good one. Big Green says that. I'd like to get to 50 likes. 50 likes before I sign off. Can we do that for me? I don't know if we could do that. Because maybe now we have 41 people in the chat. There's one person in here, potentially, that did not like that. There's 41. Come on. Come on. Jet Central said Magnus Hansen. Look, I would love to do a video with Jet Central. I don't know if it's in the cards or not. We've talked about it a little bit. We did one before 2 drafts ago. Unfortunately, it did not get out in time. But it was interesting. We talked about Rosen and Baker, a little bit about Darnold, but we thought Darnold wasn't going to be there. No, I'm not going to get to it. Not going to get to it. We're so close. So close. 43. Come on, guys. A little bit more. 7 more likes. You got me begging for likes now. Whatever. You guys aren't going to do it. You guys are a bunch of jerks. I see how it is. Hang out here with you guys for 2 hours. Can't even drop a like. Nah, thank you guys. I appreciate you so much. I didn't make a thankful Thanksgiving video, but I really appreciate all the support you guys have had over the course of the last 2 years of me doing this channel. So let's keep up the support, guys. Keep your heads up. The Jets will be back at some point. We'll have our chance to shine in the sun. Guys, this is Jets Talk, signing off one more time. Guys, it's been real. Peace out.